Welcome to the cab of our Tundra. I'm trying my best to get this truck cab built kind of going. I honestly have no clue how people get so much done on YouTube. Probably pick a more complicated way to do this. This platform that I'm going to build here in the back of our CrewMax Tundra is going to be very visible, and I want it to be really solid. So the whole thing is going to be built out of 3/4 inch plywood. So far all I've really done is I went and bought all the sheets of ply that I needed, and then I spent like a night, I was just like, I'm just getting this done, breaking them down. I need to make a few templates to start this project, and the first one that I'm going to try to make is a template for the layout of the bolts back here. This is where the seats are mounted. And so I took the seats out a long time ago just to make space for the dogs and stuff back here when we're camping. So far I've really just had like a bunch of dog beds and padding back here. They're pretty low to the ground. And what I'm going to try to do is draw the layout of these bolts. Let's see. I'm going to try to draw the layout of these bolts. And since this has factory edges and is perfectly square, and I'm assuming that everything from Toyota is laid out perfectly, I think that's going to work okay, but who knows. There is one kind of tricky part about this, and I've seen other people like reading about people doing like seat deletes and stuff like that. The trickiest part is this is where they put like the bottle jack for changing your tire, and I've seen different things, but I'm probably just going to kind of leave it in place, because I think even if I take it out of here, I'm going to have to like ruin this to flatten it out, and then I'm going to have to figure out somewhere else to mount it anyways. So ignore the zip ties. It never hurts to have some giant or whatever super huge zip ties in the back of your truck. But anyway, so the way the plywood bottom is going to go on here is it's probably going to come to about right here. And so I think what I'm going to do is just router a nice pretty hole around this whole thing, and then I'll be able to reach in through the sides of the platform and get it out. And then I also think it won't be easy, but I think I'll be able to finagle this in and out of there, because the top of the platform is going to come to about right here, and I'll be a few inches away from the back wall. So I think if I can't get that out, I can find somewhere else to store that. These are like the rods and whatever. But right now, I'm going to try to trace out these bolts rather than do anything productive, because it's been kind of a long weekend and I don't really have enough time to spend on this. I'm going to dick around and do something else instead. I thought of a fun little way to test out this template. But first we got to make this template. So the first kind of thing here is I can't really, my plan was just to lay this flat on top of here, but I can't do that until I make a cutout for this part. This part I don't think needs to be super precise. So I think what I'm going to do is just throw a rough little thing on here. So now I just decide how far back I want to go. 4 inches should be more than enough. All right, I'm going to go cut this out. Oh, that could have went a little better. I'm not the best with a jigsaw. I probably should have figured out a better cutting surface, but that part's also not super important. I was swinging for the fences with some rounded corners, and that did not go quite as good as I thought, but this part also doesn't really need to be perfect. slightly worried this is not going to work. There's too much variability and just little inconsistencies. Like if this matches up perfectly, I'll be shocked. Alright, so that worked surprisingly well, since the actual thing is going to be a lot bigger and we're really close. I think what I might do is just cut these holes a little bit wider and then put bigger washers on the top of these so that I can just kind of maneuver this however I want. But, so all these look okay. This one looks good. Most of them look really good. But for some reason, this is like the driver's side. This bracket is just not lined up with the rest of them. So like this one is about a ½ inch back from everything else. So I remarked it, but like other than that, I would say this one too is the interior ones are just not perfect. So thanks, Toyota. But I think my solution might just be to use this and then cut slightly larger holes. So for the build, I think that's about all we're going to get done tonight. But I'm going to build something else real quick. I don't know if you can see out behind me, but the Tundra seats need a new home. They've just been kind of hobbling against crap in the garage, and they deserve the respect of living on in the garage. So I'm going to take this template and I'm going to see if I can test it out by making a little platform for the Tundra seats. Wow, so that actually worked out surprisingly well. So, got little round corners, got a little rope to drag these things with. I really thought that I put these too far back and it was going to be kind of tippy backwards. It actually really isn't at all. We'll see if we get like 3 people on there, but yeah. Now we got now we got a garage couch. Oh! Oh! Holy. So all in all, this worked out pretty well. But it takes up a lot more space in here than I thought it was gonna. But the Tundra seats were just kind of banging against the side of the garage over there. And every time I need to get something out, I'd have to like, they would just be wobbling and like leaning against something, and I'd have to pull them, like lean them against something else. So now at least we can get some use out of these things, and I'll have a place to sit out here and procrastinate. So we'll see how long this lasts. Yeah, pretty cool.